In this example, we're given the cardinality of neither. And neither is similar in technique kind of to the intersection, meaning if someone gives you the cardinality of neither, put that in your Venn diagram first because it is a single region. You do not need to figure out how to divvy it. It doesn't go into two different spots. It's a single region. So just like how when we had the intersection, we would put that in the middle right away. When we're given the neither, we're going to put that right away as well. So we've got R reading 57, we've got S sewing, that's 41, and then for our neither, it's 15 and it goes right there. All right, how do we figure out the rest of the Venn diagram? So here's something to consider. Your Venn diagram has 15 outside the circles. So what would the two circles together as a union, what would they have to be? You know your total is 100. So what would that missing piece be for that gray little bubble area? It would have to be 85. And this is a key piece of information that's going to help us fill out the rest of the Venn diagram. So now that we know that 85 is the circles together, we can figure out each piece. Here's how we're going to do it. Start with one side. So we'll start with sewing. The whole sewing circle is 41. I know that the two circles together gives me 85. So what would have to be this missing crescent piece over here, this reading only, this R outside of S? What would have to be that missing piece if the total is 85 and sewing is 41? The way I figure that out is 85 minus 41. So now I know that this piece of R, not the whole thing of R, just that piece that's R by itself, that's 44. This represents reading, but not sewing. So the answer to that first question, how many liked reading but not sewing, is 44. I can do the exact same thing to answer the second question, how many liked sewing but not reading? So how that looks is kind of flip. We know that the totality of R is 57. The cardinality of set R is 57. The union together is 85. So 57 plus something has to give me 85. So the way I could figure that out is through subtraction. 85, subtract off that 57 piece that we already know about, and the leftovers is going to be 28. And this is the cardinality of the region that is S only, sewing only. In other words, it's people who liked sewing but not reading, and there's 28 of them. So we've figured out those two R only, S only regions. And so now our Venn diagram is looking like this, but I still don't know the middle piece. There are three different ways I could figure this out, and all of them are fine. You don't have to do all three. Just pick one, pick the one that makes sense to you. So we know that set R is going to be 57. 44 of it is already accounted for. So if I take 57 minus 44, that's going to give me that missing piece, which is actually the intersection, which is 13. You could also use set S. So we know that the totality of set S, the cardinality of set S is 41. 28 is that outer piece. So if I subtract 41, if I subtract 28 from 41, then 13 is what's left over. That has to be what goes in the intersection. And notice we got the same answer, which is good because it should be. This is how we're computing the intersection in various different ways. So they should all be 13. And the last method you could say is, well, I know that the union was 85. The whole thing together was 85 in those circles. So if I subtract off those two pieces, 44 and 28, I'm going to get 13 in the center. So no matter how you do it, your intersection should come up as 13.